Have you ever had a brilliant idea for an app or website, but it was just stuck on paper? Turning that flat design into something people can actually click, use, and feel is a huge challenge. Well, today we're diving into a tool called Axure RP that's built to do just that. By the end of this, you'll know what it is, who it's for, and, most importantly, if it's the key to unlocking your next big project. Let's do this. Right? This is the big question. You've got this amazing concept, but it's just a static image. How do you show your team or your client or even your professor how it's supposed to feel, how it actually works? You need to bridge that gap between a picture and a product long before anyone writes a single line of code. And that's exactly the problem we're solving today. So what in the world is Axure RP? Think of it as a super-powered design space. It lets you build incredibly realistic, functional prototypes. And the best part? No coding required. Now, we're not just talking about linking buttons to pages. No. The real magic of Axure is that it handles the complex stuff. We're talking variables, conditional logic, dynamic content, all the things that make an app feel alive and smart. It lets you mimic the real deal. Okay, so we get what it does. But who is this tool really for? Axure isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It's more like a specialized toolkit. Let's break down who gets the most out of it. First up, students. If you're in a UX or UI design program, this is basically your creative command center. Imagine for a class project, instead of just showing a flat design of a fitness app, you hand in a working prototype where you can actually tap to log a workout. Now that gets you an A. It's how you build a killer portfolio that shows you can do more than just make pretty pictures. And hey, with free trials and student discounts, it's totally within reach. Now, for the professionals out there, Axure is an absolute powerhouse for collaboration. You know the pain of trying to explain an interaction to a client with just static mockups, right? It leaves way too much room for misunderstanding. Axure just wipes that ambiguity away. You build a prototype that looks and feels like the finished product. So when you show it to your client or the development team, everyone's on the exact same page. It's how you get that confident yes and avoid costly changes down the line. And that right there is the key. It's all about mimicking the real app. When everyone, from the client to the developer, understands the vision perfectly, you eliminate guesswork and save a ton of time and money. It's a total game changer. But it's not just for designers. This might surprise you, but for researchers, Axure is a secret weapon. Instead of just describing a new concept in a paper, you can actually build it and let people test it. Imagine you have a hypothesis about a new healthcare app. You can build 2 different versions in Axure, A/B test them with real users, and gather actual data on which one works better. This is gold for user testing, and it can even help you make a much stronger case when you're applying for grants. So we've seen who it's for, but what are the core features that make it all work so well? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what makes Axure so powerful for collaboration. Okay, first off, sharing and feedback is a breeze. You just send a link and your team or client can leave comments right on the prototype. And if you're working on something top secret, you can totally lock it down with security features. Second, responsive design is built in. You can design once and have it automatically look great on a desktop, a tablet, and a phone. But honestly, the biggest time saver might be the automatic spec generation. Axure literally creates the detailed documentation for your developers. All the notes, interactions, styles, it saves you from hours, maybe even days of tedious manual work. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. We know who it's for, we know what it can do. But now for the million-dollar question. Is Axure RP actually the right tool for you? Let's lay it all out. Let's be real and look at the pros and cons. The upsides are huge. You can build these powerful, interactive prototypes without knowing any code, and you can easily share them with anyone as a simple HTML file. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, wait, user-friendly, but also a learning curve? How does that work? Good question. Getting started with basic wireframes is pretty simple, but to really unlock Axure's superpowers, all that cool conditional logic, yeah, that's going to take a little time to master. And of course, unlike some other tools, the full-featured version does come with a price tag. So where does Axure fit in with all the other design tools out there, like Figma? Here's the simplest way to think about it. If you're focused on beautiful, static UI design or simple click-throughs, other tools are great for that. But if your prototype needs to think, if it needs to handle variables, remember user inputs, and navigate complex flows, that is where Axure absolutely dominates. It's for deep, sophisticated interactivity, not just surface-level design. Feeling curious? Here's what you can do next. First, definitely grab the free trial. There's no better way to know if it feels right for you than to just play with it. Second, if you're a student, seriously, go look up those discounts. They make it super accessible. And finally, don't be scared of that learning curve. There are tons of amazing tutorials online that will get you up to speed in no time. At the end of the day, a tool like Axure RP is all about bridging that critical gap between a static idea and a living, breathing experience. It gives students the power to build impressive portfolios, helps professionals communicate with crystal clarity, and allows researchers to test groundbreaking ideas. So with that power at your fingertips, the only real question left is, what will you build?